Hello, folks. My name's Karl Smith from the UK Hypnosis Academy, and welcome to tonight's live with our channel, the Hypnotic Masterminds on YouTube. So I hope you all hope you find tonight. I'm really happy to have a very good friend of mine, Scott Sandland, over from California with us. So hello, Scott. How are you?
Doing great, Karl. How are you doing?
I'm not too bad. You know, I'm looking forward to the up and coming Hypnothoughts live and all that. And I thought we'd grab you tonight because obviously you seem to have been the peanut boy of hypnosis for some time now. I mean, 10 years I've known
Yeah.
you, man, you know, and 10 years you've got me into mischief and never bought me a proper whiskey. But anyway, that's a different story. There are many stories that I could go into there, but I'm not
That's how
going.
you can tell who the good hypnotist is, Karl.
You could do that. Maybe I'll bring you some proper whiskey over when I see you next time. Anyway, but I just wanted to go through because a lot of people ask me about Hypnothoughts, and I've got my own feelings on it. I mean, Hypnothoughts. I met you first, the very first Hypnothoughts, and the only reason I've missed, the previous ones is because of that bloody C word, and it's been, I've missed it. And I'll tell you now, Hypnothoughts has made my career. I really have to say that. I've been introduced to some amazing people. I've networked. It's a family. I mean, so why don't you give us a brief on what Hypnothoughts is and, you know, about the evolution, not a revolution type side of things, and talk us through how you came up with the concept, why you came up with the concept, and about where you see the future is. Really, that's what I'd like to get out of you.
I mean, as much as you joke that I'm the pinup boy, like you really are a perfect model, and you're one example of exactly what Hypnothoughts Live is for. So I created a website called hypnothoughts.com 20 years ago, almost. And it was called the MySpace of hypnosis. That's how long ago it was.
Oh, right.
And it was this online community. And the idea was we're going to level the playing field. It's going to be a meritocracy, and we're just going to share ideas, and no one can advertise unless they're a community member. So we had like these paid ads, but you had to be a member. And so that meant the people who were names, the people who were selling classes showed up and contributed. It's great. And then the extension of that was we created virtual conferences. We had the Hypno Summit before. There's now a Hypno Summit that's not connected to us, and that's fine. That's great. But we had a Hypno Summit virtual event. And at some point we decided to do a real in-person event. And back then, 10 years ago, when we decided to do this, only certifying bodies could do it because they were the only ones who actually had a good enough mailing list and had a reason to get butts in seats. Yeah. But we built a website that, had, 25,000 members. So we said, we're big enough. And the idea of the conference was like, I'm in America, I go to all the conferences and, I'm on a board of this, I'm on the advisory panel and the ethics committees and all these different things. So like my badge at the conference looks like I won a war. Like there's just all these tags and tassels at the bottom of the thing that made people take me seriously. And that's not cool. So we said, we're going to level the playing field and we're just going to let the people who are great, like the cream will rise to the top kind of thing. Yeah. And there's people like you and Ken Guzzo and Kaz Riley and all these people who on year 1, 2, or 3, like were unknown, but and we don't take, I mean this sincerely. Like
I know what you mean.
Credit, but we were able to create a stage where great people like you could step into a space and become a voice and become a trainer and become known. And so we now have the largest hypnosis conference in the world. We have 178 presenters. So when you think about the size of most hypnosis conferences, we have more presenters than most people have attendees. Yeah. And it's this huge, all-inclusive, super fun event.
The thing is that when Hypnothoughts Live, the first ever one, what was that? It was 2012, wasn't it? Was it 2012? It was. Yeah, in 2012. How many people were there? About 140 people?
Under 200.
It was under 200.
Yeah, I want to say maybe 160, but yeah, you're right there.
Yeah, so let's say 150, just under 200, yeah, round about there. But on the same token, what are the figures? Let's say we're filming this in 2022. Where are you now with the global audience and what we're doing now?
Attendees is about, as of today, and I know that we're going to get a lot more, but I think we're at like 650 attendees and about 200 presenters. So we'll come up right at around 1,000 attendees and all in.
You always get the last minuters anyway, don't you? It's the people that just need to sort out. And especially
we get about 20% of our attendees in the last 2 months.
It's been a truly amazing experience. And I want this to look like an ad. I want to open up people's eyes to what's actually out there. And a lot of people, especially for us in the UK, or us Britnatists, the Europeans now, it is quite expensive. But when you actually look at the costs of, if you book early for Hypnothoughts, and the flights and the hotel, because the hotel itself is obviously subsidized, you know, you're not actually paying a lot more than what it would cost for, let's say, some of the other conferences that may be held in Europe. And it's really, and you're getting all that sunshine and loads of presenters from around the world. And I think it's amazing. I really do. I've really enjoyed it. Where do you see the future of Hypnothoughts? Because obviously it's been growing over the past 10 years. Where do you see the future for it?
I see a few things. So a couple of years ago, I started trying to like generate the future of it, right? Like, okay, we're going to do the school where you came and spoke, and like we're gonna push this, we're gonna push that, we're gonna look into being bringing more conferences under our like umbrella and like do a sort of a big tentpole thing. And I decided to get away from that. And what I really see Hypnothoughts Live as, what we have going for us is we have the finger on the pulse of what's up and coming and what's next. And that's really what I want us to be. And being able to nurture young talent and look out for the people who've got something. And there's, this year we've got a few that I'm really excited to see in person. And that's what I want us to be, is the thing where, 20% of our presenters are new presenters every year, because we get you and Kaz and Ken and all these great, and it allows us to pull in the big names because they want to see it too. And we're all so excited about creating that. From an economics and like, the business side of things, I don't really care. I really, in the last 2 years, have really focused back down to saying the thing that we do better, the thing that makes us special is nurturing that. And so whatever else comes from it is just a bonus.
It has been great watching some of the over the 10 years of seeing people, especially the likes of like Stephanie Conkle and there's many other names, and obviously I'm just bringing Stephanie out, but I remember Stephanie in those early days that used to watch me doing like hand drop inductions and going, oh my God, I can never do that, to now having her own classes and doing her own thing and just being her, and she's just another person that I'm just bringing to
perfect example. Joseph Onesta is another example. He's like on the way right now. He's like 2 years into like a 6-year ramp up, and like he's just going to keep getting better and better. He's so good. And it's just fun to watch for all of us.
It is. And there are some of the usual names, the usual suspects there. You got your David Schneider. I take it he'll be there. David will be there this year. He's
David
there.
will be there. Mike Mandel will be there. 178 people are going to be presenting. It's so many.
It's brilliant. I love it. And how's Stephanie Stephanie Skeeber bearing up under the pressure?
Stephanie is doing all the work. She's amazing. Stephanie is one of the most important people in the profession of hypnosis today. No exaggeration. She's running the industry for many of the top names.
I know.
I mean, just that's what she does. And so, she being my partner in the conference now, bringing her in the way we have over the last few years, I may have these 20, 25 year long relationships with these people, but she's talking to all the top trainers every week about their money. And so when she calls, they pick up. And so she's great. She's great.
She loves it.
I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, she does love it. But I do like her most favorite question, which I have to ask about 3 or 4 times per day, which is, where's the toilets? Which does amaze me at Hypnothoughts Live, known as such a successful lady with such skills, is consistently being asked where's the toilets when the toilet sign is above them, which is quite good.
Giant. It's a 1.5 foot tall letter. Like it says it with a big arrow. And she still gets bugged and annoyed by people asking her for, where's the toilets? And you're like,
exactly. It had to go down to toilet humor with me again in the seat, didn't it? Really, but on the same token. But anyone in particular this year that you are looking forward to seeing? Well, apart from me, of course, with the bottle.
Well, mostly you. I mean, it's you, and then there's like a gap and basically everybody else. No, you know what I will say? I'm actually just putting together a video right now that I'm going to put out to Hypnothoughts Live members, especially the presenters. The thing that I love is learning how to watch presenters when, like, you already know what you're doing. Like, I've been doing this a long time. You've been doing this a long time. Like, we know what we're doing. And so I really want to encourage people who really know what they're doing to get back in the room, in the classroom, and, you know, in the audience. And so I'm putting together what's helped me do it, which is like, I'll take a day, and this sounds dumb, but like, I watch footwork. Like, Sean Michael Andrews has the best footwork of any hypnotist I've ever seen. And I literally mean where he's putting his feet and his body compared to his clients. And you go, what's that mean? If you start watching for it, you'll see it. Martin Peterson's fundamentals are really, really solid as well. And I look for little things like that. I look for, you know, what are they doing with their tonality? What are they doing with their pauses? What are they doing? And like, there's all these little mechanics that, like, we all generate on our own, and it just sort of happens, and it just sort of iteratively gets better and better in a direction. And I really want to encourage people who are coming to the conference, or not, you know, just in general, if you're going to other conferences, still get in the room and watch the fundamentals and pick a thing and compare and contrast across a couple presenters, and you'll appreciate new things about yourself and others.
See, the key thing that I've learned, so that I've got two parts to this, is that coming on to that, how do you qualify a presenter? And I'll say this so I don't put you in it. I've been to conferences before in England and in Europe, where the quality is not as good because they're wanting quantity. How do you as an organization ensure that you filter out quality, quantity?
Yeah, a couple of things. First, there's no back the room sales. We have vendor rooms. You can't sell from the stage. So that means you're not doing sales pitches, and we push that. And we have room monitors who intervene if anything happens, which it rarely does now because everyone's so trained to be respectful of the time and the opportunity. Now we have panels. So like, if you're a new presenter, a lot of the new presenters, we put them on a panel. So, you know, they're sitting next to you. They're sitting next to Derek Watkins. They're sitting next to somebody who's, you know, been around the block. So if things start to go a little sideways, they've got a person to like lean on. So that helps. And then the other thing we do is, I don't make 1-year bets on people. I make 3-year bets. So if someone's in as a presenter, unless they really blow it, they're going to get 1 or 2 more tries. And I can think of maybe 6 years ago, there was a girl, and I say girl, not woman, because she was like 6 years old. She was just this, and she was a volunteer, and I'm not going to say her name to embarrass her, but she was this volunteer who was helpful and wonderful. And she said, I want to be a presenter. And she did her first presentation, and she was insecure about it. And I said, look, I don't care if you accidentally light one of the chairs on fire and like we have to evacuate. You're coming back next year as a presenter. So just take the pressure off yourself and just find your voice, because just getting up in 50 minutes is not enough time to really find your voice and find your audience. And so we can talk with them, we can pull them aside, we can nurture them, we can coach them up. And so a lot of those presenters, they have their hearts in the right place, hopefully. And then if we see that, we can build around it. And that's what we put the work into.
Yeah, I think you've got a great thing going on there. Honestly, I've loved being part of it over the past 10 years. Last year, 21 was the only year that I've not presented on, because 2020 we still did the virtual side of it. Yeah, and that worked out quite well. It's just a case of you had to keep it alive. But the one thing is that, do you think with the 2-year sabbatical that we've had, especially for the Europeans, not for everybody outside of the US, have you noticed any trend changes or anything like that? I'm going to say this politely: have people become lazier over COVID and not prepared to come out of their chairs because it's easier to learn for $7 on a course, or are you actually seeing people coming back?
So there's been an upwell of online conferences, which, you know, is not a bad thing. But there's interesting sort of unforeseen consequences where there are so many of them and so many of the same presenters giving the same talks at all of them,
Yeah.
that there's a chunk of people who say, well, I've seen a conference or two this year. It was about the same. Why get on a plane to see the same thing?
Yeah.
And I get that, especially if they've been financially hit.
Yeah.
Of course. And I think anybody who's really been to Hypnothoughts Live knows, and I've run hypnosis conferences that are online only. I've presented at them. I think they're a good thing. The difference between an online conference and Hypnothoughts Live is the difference between throwing a bullet and shooting one. It's just the idea of, and we put a lot of effort into, and a lot of money into creating opportunities for you to meet the presenters and hang out with them for a couple hours.
Yeah.
You know, like buying lunch for everybody and encouraging everyone to sit at new tables and talk to their, you know, we do a bowling tournament just to get people chatting with each other. We do costume parties just to like really take away and like strip away the pomp of like, oh my gosh, this is Marks Howell. This is, you know, these huge names, and they dress up like idiots like everybody else.
Yeah.
That ability to create mentorship and community and relationships with those presenters, you cannot have anywhere else. No. That's what we do, is create relationships so that the big names can pay it forward, which is what they want.
Yeah, it's a family. It's a massive family. Honestly, I can't explain this. And I'm going to, obviously we're talking about Hypnothoughts, but and I said it at the very beginning, it's about the networking. There is so many people that I know from Huntington Beach all the way through to Berlin, from Melbourne up to Reykjavik, that I've met literally globally because of Hypnothoughts Live. And I don't mean, I know them online. We go to the seafood restaurants, we go out for curries, it's been truly amazing. And I really do think that those people that have not been actually physically to Hypnothoughts Live, especially because that, out of all the conferences I've been to, genuinely, Scott, I have to say there is no ego, and that's something you've drilled out as well. There's no one sitting at the back marking you because they're registering you against their particular idea. You've got your views, your ideas, and it just builds that bond. And you know, I'll tell you now, last year, sitting back here in England, obviously we're filming this in 22, 21 when I missed, and there was no interaction. I was like that. I was upset. I was depressed. I'm sitting there, and I'll tell you now, I even took Facebook off my phone for 4 or 5 days, so I didn't have to watch people next to the pool. I was like that. This is shit. It really was, because it wasn't about standing on stage, which is great, which is why the presenters do what they do. But that being with Ken, being with you, being with many others, Martin, and everybody else, because in my military experience, I experienced this morning, funny enough, is that I haven't spoke to somebody for over 25 years. And the conversation I had this morning, you've probably got friends from your university time, Scott, where you can get back to 25 years within the snap of a finger. Yeah. And it's exactly like that with Hypnothoughts Live. You can be away from a year and bang, you're straight into it. And it just keeps growing and going. And I just love that part of it. And
so I'll say it this way. If you are a hypnotist, hypnotherapist, whatever word you use and wherever you are, and you know, whatever's appropriate, if you've never hugged another hypnotist like you can hug a family member, you know what I mean? Like when I see people like Melissa Tears or whoever, like when I see my friends, you know, David Snyder, you know, all these longtime friends of mine, when we see each other in Vegas, it's big, long, sincere, laughing hugs. And we mean it. And like, if you think you could create in your profession, which is isolating, you know, you're in your office seeing clients, helping people one at a time, and then they leave and that's it. Yeah. You can create a community with your peers who really appreciate what you do, who understand what day in, day out is. And when we see each other, we hug and laugh. And such an important thing. And I think there is a deficit of that in our profession. And so building an opportunity for us to build those relationships with each other is one of the most rewarding things I've done in my career.
I think it's one of the most valuable things, like you've just mentioned there, that most hypnotists, hypnotherapists don't get, especially, you know, I think there was only me, John, Chase, and Zoe and Tim.
Yeah, Tim Block. Oh, Tim's coming back too.
Yeah, Tim. Yeah, I've heard that Tim's. I'll have to contact Tim. I'll have to contact him about that. But the key thing is that when we came over there and just coming back and telling people what an amazing time and that networking, you just can't get over that networking. I keep thinking about it, that my career was built on the back end of just meeting other people from other worlds and just sitting there sometimes and going, pushing your own ego out of the way and just going, fucking hell, have I got it that wrong or have they got it wrong? I don't really mind. But then drinking a beer with them afterwards, there's none of that animosity. I've never seen any real serious negativity. None. You might get people like, that's not for me, or something like that. And they walk out of the presentation, not in a nasty way, but they might just go, this isn't for me. But I've never seen anything, negative in that way, which has been great, which is, for the way you run it, mate, and the team around you, it's been absolutely amazing. But it's been, it's great speaking to you, mate. You got anything else you want to bring up? Is there anything you want to bring up about Hypnothoughts before we knock it on the head? Because you've got a busy day in front of you, because I do realize that you've just got out of your bed while we're about to get into our bed.
Well, yeah, but part of getting this close to Hypnothoughts Live is I get up about 5 to get working on this thing. People really don't appreciate how much work goes into doing it. I'm in hours of meetings year round to make the conference work. Yeah. And every week I'm in multiple hours of meetings just to make sure that when everyone gets there, it's just smooth sailing and fun. But it's not about me. I gotta say, if you want to help human beings, you need to go to a live conference. I don't even care which one it is. If there's a conference I hate, which there isn't, but go to that one. I'm not selling my thing, but go to a conference, meet your colleagues. You will learn so much about the work, over a beer, over a dinner, over a lunch. You will learn so much about how to help people. And ultimately, we are doing this to help people. And you will get better in ways you didn't know you could get better because of conversations you can't have online. And just please go somewhere.
It's one of those things, at the present moment in time, especially over the past, and we're doing this in 22, it's going on YouTube, so I never know when we could be watching this in 2032, somebody. But at the same time, we just come out the end of COVID, and it's quite apparent that everyone's gone and done a $7 course. Well, not everybody. There's a lot of people out there that have done these little short courses, $7 courses, call themselves hypnotists, hypnotherapists, and they're asking basic fundamental questions in groups because they don't have that support and that peerage to help them. They don't have it. And I think that going to a conference is so vitally important. Just even if you have somebody that you find that you just resonate with, that you can go, I've got a client that's just turned up, somebody that can support you, because what we do is really, really important. It's, and the safety and the ethics that go around it are really important.
And the ethics and all that come from community. It's not going to come from an organizing body at this time. And I don't even know if we want one. It's an interesting conversation to have, but the way that I can call you out if you screw up, or the way that you can call me out if I screw up, is based on a mutual respect and appreciation. And because we have that, if I ring you up and say, Karl, you blew this, whatever it is, you came up short here, you will listen to me because my intentions are good. And if you call me and say, Scott, this is wrong, you have failed this, I will listen to you because you've earned that right. And you earn that right 10 times faster in person than you ever can online. Yeah. And that's what we're getting.
Mate, I'll tell you now, I'm really looking forward to it. And I know that whatever year you're watching this in, have a look at Hypnothoughts Live. I'll put all the details below anyway. But no, I'm just looking forward to being back with the family, mate. And I really do mean that. I do love I do love going walk. That first moment you walk into that hotel and you get that coconut smoke.
The synthetic air scent, the saccharine, it's awful.
No, mate, it's been a pleasure talking to you again. I can't wait to see you again. I am going to bring you over a proper bottle of whiskey instead of that shite that you tried to give me, and proper Glenmorangie I think I'll bring over this time, and we'll see how we go on with that. But
the Nectar de Oro is a real good Glenmorangie.
That is my favorite. So now I know which bottle I'm bringing with me.
It's good.
I'm bringing the other one because you're not having that Nectar d'Or.
Yeah, it's good.
I like that. That's really nice, that one.
Yeah.
But no, I look forward to seeing your body. And for anyone who's never been to Hypnothoughts before, honestly, please go have a look at it. Join the Facebook groups, go have a look at the websites, go have a look at the community, get involved and start getting yourself out there, talking about it. There may be somebody out there that you might meet from around the globe that you might be able to present with in a couple of years' time. You just never know that you may just strike everything. But it's been great. But thanks, Scott. Thanks for your time. Thanks for what you've done with Hypnothoughts. We'll have a chat in a minute. But don't forget, guys, have a look at the details below. I'll put Scott's details below as well, so you can contact the organization if you need him. Please. And we'll go from there. Guys, don't forget, go out there and go enjoy yourself. Don't forget, be safe out there in this crazy ass world. And if you go out there, just be safe. Go out there and just go out and practice. And when you finish practicing, go practice some more. Folks, be safe out there. Thanks, Scott.
Love it. Cool.